Were you always the class clown?
People saw, well, different sides of me. So one thing I always was I was always a clown. Always. Like even in grade school, I found one of my old yearbooks and people were like, "You are the funniest person I know." I mean, this is like in 6th grade, and they're like, "You're gonna be a comedian," all this stuff. And then I just carried it over. I mean, I was always goofing around, but I don't think anybody would have gone like, "Oh, he's gonna make a living at that for sure." So I was nominated. You know, when you have like the class polls, I was up for most likely to go bankrupt. And that's real. It was like I was one of the nominees for that. So
Quite an
they
honor,
also
huh?
saw like they also saw like the party side of me, which was a big side.
Looks like you just threw a party in your basement just now.
Yeah, it's a little chaotic. I broke into a Crate and Barrel, and I just live in the basement of it.
So, let me ask you something, okay? You start stand-up comedy, what, to 16 years old?
I started improv comedy at 16, and
Is
then
it
stand up at 19.
is it hard when you would have a bad night? Is it harder to take in the bad nights when you're that young? Does it get to you more than when you were 21 and go up there and have a rough night?
Bombing is one of the most jarring mind fuck things you can ever experience. It is fucking awful because, and it's a good question because when you're young and you're developing, you know, I had a weird road where I killed right away. So my first time on stage was phenomenal. It went great. It was an open mic in Minnesota, and the crowd was great, and I was super high energy, and it went great. So I didn't really bomb for a long time because I was really physical and loud. So it was almost like it was almost impossible.
It was hard to bomb.
Yeah, because I would only be doing 3 or 4 minutes. So if I'm fucking running around the stage like a lunatic. So then when I got settled in and built up my act and more, and then when I bombed, it was pretty bad, man. It took me a while to get back on stage because it really shocks the shit out of you.
So would you say that it hurt you that you bombed later in your career, as to at least you could just get it out of the way if you bomb first 5 shows?
I mean, that's hard for me to say, you know, but the only thing that is great about it is that, you know, you have to bomb. So, you know, when I talk to younger comics and they're like, you know, they stress about it or they stress that it happened. I'm like, no, no, no. Like you have to. It's fucking great.
Got to get it out of the way.
It's all it's just experiencing all of it, you know, and you have to put yourself out there. You're already fucking doing it, going on stage, which is insanity. I remember this. I don't know why I thought of this, but I remember I was at an open mic in Minnesota and I was coming through town and I needed an opener. I didn't have an opener. And I was like, so I go to the open mic, and I go to the owner and I'm like, hey, who's funny? I just need someone to do like 10 minutes. And he's like, oh, this dude. So I saw this guy, he's really funny. And I came up afterwards. I'm like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? He's like, nothing. I'm like, will you open for me? I'll give you like a couple $100, just do like 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Where? I'm like, North Dakota. Anyway, we go do a gig in North Dakota, pull up at this theater on campus. And he goes, how many people is this? And I go, I don't know. It's like 4,000. And he goes, I'm sorry, what? And I go, yeah, it's like 4,000. It'll be fun. And he's like, and I go, what? And he goes, and I go, what's the biggest crowd you've done? And he goes,
40.
you remember the open mic that you just saw me at? And I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, that was probably it, about 30 people. And I was like, dude, don't freak out. Just treat it like it's 30 people. And he's like, what? And I go, just treat it like it's 30 people. I go, if you bomb, who cares? You're getting paid, we'll get drunk. And he's like, all right. So he went out and he killed. And then we went out with my buddies. We just got hammered.